Last night, the tone of the Ed Orgeron show was a little different than it has been in the previous weeks, and especially through the previous couple of seasons. We saw this the last couple of years with Les Miles, specifically within his last year, their 2015 and into 16, where the fans would use his weekly radio show to really come at him and ask him and get philosophy. Now, Miles couldn't complete a sentence. It would never give you any thought that made any sense. But Orgeron last night, in true Orgeron fashion, as you expect he would, stood in, answered the questions, and here's what a little bit of it sounded like.
So before we get into the bites, I think just the tone of it is really interesting, right? Because as you point out, it took Miles a long time to get there where people kind of felt empowered to do that, right? They had to become very angry. I think the fact that it's kind of taken a turn this drastically here this early on it just reinforces how kind of exceptionally below expectations this season has been, right? That's always what we talk about. Where you land in relation to the expectations is what determines the temperament of your fan base. And LSU has fallen so short that you would have never guessed that this become a contentious show, just a month ago, and yet here we are.
So Orgeron was asked about personnel packaging, and Arik Gilbert was not on the field for a couple of throwing opportunities, including the end of the game scenarios on the goal line. Orgeron was asked about that.
Let me tell you, that last one was a mistake. Arik Gilbert should have been in the game. So I wanted the best players on the field at that time, and we was throwing a go route. Arik Gilbert caught the first go route. He should have been in the game. I got to take the responsibility. That was not a play for Torrey Carter, for sure.
That is shocking to me. I've spent this entire week, you walk around the neighborhood, whatever, you guys ask you questions. I've been telling everybody, I can only assume that Arik Gilbert was hurt, right? Because he had the hot start, and then he hurts his shoulder, and you still saw him some. He didn't see him a lot. Coming to find out, no, I was completely wrong. They literally just had Torrey Carter in there over Arik Gilbert. That's wild to me. It seems like such a kind of massive oversight. Obviously, I'm here. I am glad that they just openly have admitted that, because I think that shows that they're going to get it fixed. You have to first identify the problem, but that is just truly mind-boggling that Arik Gilbert was on the sideline by choice in those moments.
John Emery is one of your best players. Where is his reps?
John Emery deserves more reps. Kevin Falk is doing a great job coaching our running backs. I let the guys manage their position. He felt that, Chris Curry came back from an injury, that he was healthy and ready to go, and he felt that he would be the first in the rotation. So that's what happened. But you know what? Hindsight's 2020. We should have got John more reps.
I agree. You need to get Emery more reps. I still think the bigger problem with the running game that was not to do with the running backs. The offensive line could not block without Ed Ingram.
Here is Orgeron talking about those goal line scenarios and the play calling on the last four tries.
Well, let me say this to you. I've spent 3 days on that goal line offense with our offense. And, we were running the same plays we ran last year, which worked. And these guys caught up to us. And we tried to go hurry up. We ran the same 2 plays in a row. The 3 technique, the tackle didn't cut them off. The 3 technique got in the backfield, hit them. We should have been in a 3-point stance. We should have been in tighter splits. But I do believe that if we had Joe, we'd have stuck the ball. We stunk the ball last week, the week before with Miles. It didn't work well. I think Steve was a little nervous about it. But I do believe that we shouldn't have took the ball off the line of scrimmage. We should have stuck it or throw an alley-oop to Arik Gilbert. We just need to be more creative. We can't run the same thing because people are catching up to it.
Yeah, that's so. Again, I definitely appreciate the honesty, and it is validating, right? Because that was our exact film takeaways that we gave you on Monday. But isn't it? It's just it is a bit of a red flag that all of this stuff had even taken place in the first place, right? Maybe it's just natural kind of human nature, right? You win the Natty, things are going so well, maybe you get a bit comfortable, you figure, okay, what worked in the past will continue to work. And that's one of the hardest things to do really in any job, is to kind of, especially if you're on top, I think, is to judge you, still hold yourself to this standard and continue to try to evolve and improve even when you've already reached that mountaintop. So I feel like there was probably kind of a little hubris mixed in, thinking that you could do the same things, they would still work. And sometimes you got to be slapped in the face. You got to suffer some bad times to realize that is not the case and to get it right. And I'm going to judge this LSU football team and staff on what they do from here on out. Because in these first, and you caught a break, Florida this weekend, you got time. In these first 3 weeks, you have clearly identified the issues that need to be fixed. Now, can you go and do it?
Here is Orgeron speaking about recruiting during the slow start.
Well, they believe in us. They seen our championship team last year. They seen guys develop. They seen 14 guys go in the NFL. They're watching these guys that came here as 3 stars, is tearing up the NFL. And we sell them on development. And we sell them on winning championships. And you know what? We need more players. And these guys, the result of the game doesn't affect the recruits as much as you would think. We have a great relationship with these guys. We have spoken to them and their mamas and daddies. We have 18 commitments right now. We're recruiting some of the best people in the country. Some are silently committed to us. They're coming. They're staying strong, and they love being a Tiger. So I feel good about our recruiting.
Yeah, and again, I don't think the game results matter as much as you just need to stabilize defensively so that you can still sell people that Pelini is the man for the job. I think that would be the bigger concern at this point.
Last one. Here's Orgeron talking about the communication breakdowns in the defensive backfield.
That is our biggest fault right now in the secondary. That when we make calls, we're not communicating. That's why you see the bus. That's why you see people running down the field. So the first thing that I told Bo that we got to do is simplify. Let's make sure we're doing what our players know how to do. So we're practicing stuff all week. If they know how to do it, let's run it. If they don't, throw it out. But you know what? We're doing a better job of communicating. We're demanding communication. There's some young players out there. It's the first time they play. And it's a little bit different than practicing in the game. So we need to go in the game in a tight situation, still need to communicate, hand signals or whatever it may be, and be on the same page.
Landwine Insurance brings you off the bench daily here. Remember, LANOIXagency.com, 749-5640. If you're looking for flood insurance, business insurance, home insurance, auto insurance, get in touch with the boys today. Online, LANOIXagency.com and 749-5640. Randy, Brian, David, all standing by. Landwine Insurance, LANOIXagency.com. Dan Mullen was speaking yesterday on the SEC teleconference as well, and he was talking about the decision that, or is this one talking about the game being postponed? On Mullen. So let's talk about that. Here's Mullen talking about the current situation.
I think our medical staff has done a tremendous job since we reported back in July, putting safety protocols in place, with an abundance of caution here within our program. I think, through the months of August and September, we only had one positive test. In talking to some of my peers around college football, I think we're still on the very low number of positive tests. What we did is our medical people, we saw a slight a spike with positive tests on Sunday's test, and a couple guys showing a combination of not just COVID symptoms but some cold symptoms, and we immediately started testing guys for both the flu and COVID. We went to change the only protocol we have changed was instead of doing our conference Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday testing. We've gone to everyday testing. So we've tested now. Today was our 4th consecutive day of testing.
Orgeron yesterday on the SEC teleconference was asked whether or not he had heard from his bosses after the weekend.
Not yet. And usually when Scott has information, he called me right away. I haven't heard anything. Nobody's heard anything definite. We've heard rumors that the game may not be played. We heard that for sure it's not going to get played. But no, when I know it's legit is when Scott Woolworth called me, and he has not called me yet.
Last one from the teleconference yesterday morning on Orgeron. He was asked about the team morale.
Hey, yesterday's practice was outstanding. These guys, this Florida week, Florida don't like us. We don't like them. It's just been a rivalry game. I found out about that rivalry game when I came here at LSU. So these guys are excited to go play in the swamp. We've been there before. We've been in this position before after we lost to Troy. We went to the swamp and won a big game. So these guys are focusing on going play Florida.
This is the soundbite yesterday that everybody was hanging on, was him giving the status of his starting quarterback.
He's doubtful. I think that maybe Friday he'll by Friday he'll come around, but he didn't practice yesterday. He's not going to practice today. I haven't talked to Jack yet, but I know he's not practicing today. I think he's going to practice towards the end of the week.
Seems like the goal line shot he took on the hip.
Yeah.
It
sounds like, and when we asked him out on Tuesday, I did think he sounded a little like, because I that was a softball. All right, I was trying to be like a little fluff, a little softball. Like, I know he's been a little tense. Here's a little like, just love on your quarterback for proving his toughness. And you could tell that he's like, yeah, well, I mean, that's good. But it just sounded like he was a little hesitant to say something. And now we understand why. I will say this. Obviously, though, Miles Brennan passed the test. Anytime that you finish the entirety of that was the last 3 quarters, right? Yeah. When you finish the last 3 quarters of a game with an injury that could hold you out the next week, you're a tough son of a gun. So shout out Miles Brennan. Hopefully now that we're into sliding, getting out of bounds, and hopefully now this is nothing too serious. Yeah, it was.
I mean, that was a shot.
And it was, and it's interesting because it kind of shows how cognizant, I think at least, Miles was of the need to prove his reputation, I think, to the fan base and to the team, or at least what people had kind of pigeonholed him as, right? Kind of like a soft suburban kid, et cetera, et cetera. Because you could see him go out of bounds. Like, you could almost see the gears turn in his head. He's going out of bounds, and he said no. He plants his foot, tries to turn upfield. So, good job. Tough. I mean, like I said, tough as nails, point proven. And now hopefully he can get back and you can keep him safe. I mean, Dan Mullen had to be like kind of questioning, like, okay, we're missing 40 guys, but like they're missing the only thing that's been even decent for them this year. Like, can we still play this game? Because we'll get to it later. Moving this game to December 12th does not help Florida in any way whatsoever when you look at what their expectations are and where they hope to be.
I don't know if it delays the inevitable for LSU, but it definitely gives you a week more of grace to try and get right for South Carolina.
This is perfect for
LSU.
We can go into this.
A trip to the swamp after the last 3 weeks could be a nightmare scenario for this program and where they stand right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, when I was looking forward to this trip, I was getting less of a post-Troy feel and more of a 2009 Spikes punting the ball into the end zone sort of feel. And so I'm actually glad that this postponement happened. LSU could try to get it right.
All right, we'll take your food questions next.